Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Open world games are all about freedom, exploring massive worlds, discovering hidden secrets, and creating unforgettable adventures at your own pace. Over the years, we've played some incredible titles that have completely changed the gaming industry, but which ones truly deserve to be called the greatest of all time? In this video, I'm counting down my top 14 open world games of all time, ranked based on world design, gameplay, story, exploration, and overall experience. So without wasting any more time, let's start the countdown. Let's begin with number 14. Starting our list is Genshin Impact. When Genshin Impact launched in 2020, many players assumed it would be just another free-to-play RPG. Instead, it became one of the biggest games in the world and proved that a free game could compete with premium AAA titles. The world of Teyvat is absolutely massive. Every nation has its own culture, architecture, soundtrack, enemies, wildlife, puzzles, and exploration mechanics. Whether you're climbing mountains in Liyue, gliding through Mondstadt, diving underwater in Fontaine, or exploring the futuristic landscapes of Natlan, every region feels completely different from the last. Exploration is one of the biggest reasons people continue playing. Treasure chests are hidden everywhere, secret caves reward curious players, and environmental puzzles constantly encourage you to explore every corner of the map. Combat is another highlight. Instead of simply attacking enemies, every character controls one of 7 elements. Combining those elements creates powerful reactions that completely change how battles play out. Building different teams keeps combat fresh even after hundreds of hours. The game also receives regular updates, introducing new characters, new story chapters, and entirely new regions that continue expanding the world. Considering it's completely free to start, the amount of content available is honestly incredible, making Genshin Impact one of the best open-world RPGs ever created. Coming in at number 13 is Hogwarts Legacy. For Harry Potter fans, this game delivers something they've dreamed about for years. Instead of following Harry's story, you create your own student and experience life at Hogwarts long before the events of the books. The castle itself is one of the greatest locations ever recreated in gaming. Every hallway, classroom, secret passage, moving staircase, and hidden room has been designed with incredible attention to detail. Outside the castle, the Scottish Highlands provide a beautiful world filled with forests, villages, magical creatures, ancient ruins, and dangerous enemies waiting to be discovered. Combat is surprisingly deep. Instead of relying on one spell, players combine offensive, defensive, and utility magic to create stylish combos during battles. Unlocking new spells and talents constantly makes combat more exciting. Flying across the world on a broomstick or riding magical creatures never gets old, and exploring the wizarding world is just as enjoyable as progressing through the main story. While some side activities become repetitive over time, Hogwarts Legacy succeeds because it lets players truly live inside one of the most beloved fantasy worlds ever created. At number 12, we have Ghost of Yōtei. As the spiritual successor to Ghost of Tsushima, this game builds upon everything that made its predecessor special, while introducing a completely new journey. The world is filled with snowy mountains, dense forests, open grasslands, peaceful villages, and dangerous territories that constantly encourage exploration. Combat remains one of the game's strongest features. Every duel feels cinematic, requiring precise timing, quick reactions, and mastery of different fighting techniques. Rather than button mashing, every victory feels earned. The world also rewards players who simply wander away from the main objective. Hidden shrines, secret paths, optional encounters, and environmental storytelling make exploration feel natural instead of forced. Visually, it's one of the most beautiful games of this generation, with dynamic weather, realistic lighting, and breathtaking landscapes that constantly make you stop and admire the scenery. Ghost of Yōtei continues the tradition of delivering a cinematic samurai adventure while expanding the freedom that players loved in its predecessor. Just missing the top 10 is Crimson Desert. From the moment gameplay was revealed, it became clear this wasn't going to be another ordinary open-world RPG. The Kingdom of Pywall is incredibly diverse, featuring massive cities, peaceful villages, deserts, snowy mountains, forests, rivers, and towering castles that players can explore without interruption. One of the game's biggest strengths is its combat. Unlike many RPGs, every fight feels incredibly physical. Players can chain together sword attacks, aerial combos, grapples, wrestling moves, counters, and devastating finishing attacks. Boss battles feel almost like action games while still giving players complete freedom in how they approach combat. Traversal is equally impressive. Players can climb cliffs, glide through the air, swim across rivers, ride horses, and seamlessly travel across the world without constant loading screens. The game's next-generation visuals, realistic physics, dynamic weather system, and highly interactive environments make every part of the world feel alive. Even though it's one of the newest games on this list, Crimson Desert has already shown that it has everything needed to stand alongside some of the greatest open-world games ever made. Breaking into the top 10, we have No Man's Sky. Very few games have experienced a comeback as incredible as this one. When No Man's Sky first launched, it was one of the most controversial releases in gaming. Many of the features players expected were missing, and the game received heavy criticism. But instead of abandoning the project, Hello Games continued supporting it year after year with massive free updates. What started as a disappointing launch has transformed into one of the greatest redemption stories in gaming history. Today, No Man's Sky offers an almost endless universe to explore. With billions of procedurally generated planets, no two adventures are exactly the same. One planet might be covered in frozen mountains and violent storms, while another is filled with colorful forests, peaceful wildlife, or oceans stretching across the entire surface. Exploration is the heart of the game. You're constantly discovering new alien species, ancient ruins, crashed ships, mysterious structures, and valuable resources. Every time you leave one planet, there's another waiting to surprise you. The game also gives players incredible freedom. You can become an explorer, a trader, a pirate, a bounty hunter, or a builder. Some players spend hundreds of hours creating enormous bases, while others build fleets of capital ships and command entire expeditions across the galaxy. The multiplayer experience has also evolved dramatically. Friends can now explore together, complete missions, build settlements, and share their discoveries in one enormous universe. What makes No Man's Sky so special isn't just its size, it's the feeling that there's always another adventure waiting beyond the next star system. It may have had one of gaming's roughest launches, but today it absolutely deserves a place among the greatest open-world games ever made. At number 9, we have Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. If there's one thing this game does better than almost any other open-world title, it's creating a believable world. Pandora isn't just beautiful, it's alive. Every jungle is filled with exotic plants, glowing wildlife, waterfalls, rivers, floating mountains, and creatures that react naturally to your presence. Simply walking through the environment feels like stepping directly into James Cameron's films. One of the biggest highlights is flying on your Tikran. Soaring above forests, mountains, and massive cliffs gives players a true sense of scale, and it's one of the most enjoyable traversal systems in any modern open-world game. Combat combines traditional Na'vi weapons like bows and spears with captured human technology, allowing players to approach battles in different ways. Whether you prefer stealth or direct combat, the game gives you plenty of freedom. The day and night cycle, weather effects, and environmental details constantly make Pandora feel alive. At night, the forests glow with bioluminescent plants, creating some of the most breathtaking visuals seen in gaming. While some side missions follow familiar Ubisoft formulas, the world itself is so immersive that simply exploring becomes rewarding. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora proves that visual design and environmental storytelling can be just as important as gameplay. Coming in at number 8 are Death Stranding and Death Stranding 2. These games are unlike anything else in the gaming industry. At first glance, delivering cargo across dangerous landscapes might sound repetitive, but once you actually begin playing, you quickly realize that every journey becomes its own challenge. Crossing rivers, climbing mountains, avoiding enemy territory, managing your cargo, and planning the safest route all become part of the gameplay. Instead of simply moving from one mission marker to another, every delivery feels meaningful. One of the most unique ideas in the series is the social strand system. Players can indirectly help one another by leaving behind ladders, bridges, generators, roads, shelters, and useful equipment. Even though you may never meet another player face to face, you'll constantly benefit from their contributions and they'll benefit from yours. Death Stranding. 2 expands on everything the first game introduced. Traversal feels smoother, combat is more dynamic, the world is larger, and players have more tools than ever before to complete missions their own way. Both games also feature stunning visuals, incredible performances, emotional storytelling, and unforgettable music that perfectly complements the lonely atmosphere of exploration. These aren't games for everyone. They're slow, thoughtful, and very different from traditional action games. But for players willing to embrace that unique experience, few games leave such a lasting impression. At number 7, we have Days Gone. This is easily one of the most underrated open-world games ever released. Set in a post-apocalyptic Oregon, you play as Deacon St. John, a former biker trying to survive in a world overrun by infected creatures known as freakers. Unlike many survival games, your motorcycle becomes your most valuable companion. It's your transportation, your escape vehicle, and sometimes your only chance of survival. You constantly upgrade it with better engines, fuel tanks, tires, and repairs, making it feel like an essential part of your journey rather than just another vehicle. The open world itself is dangerous. Abandoned towns, forests, tunnels, military checkpoints, and hidden camps all contain valuable resources, but every trip comes with risk. Fuel is limited, supplies are scarce, and enemies can appear when you least expect them. Then there are the freaker hordes. Instead of fighting a handful of zombies, Days Gone throws hundreds of infected enemies at you simultaneously. These massive hordes completely change the gameplay, forcing you to think strategically, use traps, explosives, environmental hazards, and every weapon available just to survive. The story also deserves more credit than it often receives. As Deacon searches for hope in a broken world, players experience emotional moments, strong character development, and relationships that make the journey worth following. Although it didn't receive the attention it deserved at launch, Days Gone has built a loyal fan base over the years and remains one of PlayStation's best open-world experiences. Kicking off our top 6 are Marvel's Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. Superhero games have existed for decades, but very few have truly captured what it feels like to become Spider-Man. Insomniac Games changed that completely. The moment you start swinging through New York City, you immediately understand why these games are so special. Traversal isn't just a way to reach your next objective, it's one of the best parts of the entire experience. Swinging between skyscrapers, diving through the streets, performing aerial tricks, launching yourself with web slingshots, and seamlessly gliding across the city makes simply traveling feel exciting. The city itself feels alive. You'll encounter random crimes, friendly neighborhood events, hidden collectibles, photo opportunities, and iconic Marvel landmarks that reward exploration. Combat is another major highlight. Instead of relying on button mashing, battles combine fast melee attacks, aerial combos, web gadgets, perfect dodges, counters, environmental attacks, and special abilities that make every fight feel stylish. Spider-Man 2 takes everything from the first game and expands it even further. For the first time, players can freely switch between Peter Parker and Miles Morales, each with their own unique abilities and combat style. The addition of web wings makes traversal even faster, allowing players to glide across the city before seamlessly returning to web swinging. The story is filled with emotional moments, unforgettable villains, and spectacular set pieces that feel like playing through a blockbuster Marvel movie. Whether you're chasing criminals, stopping supervillains, or simply swinging through Manhattan at sunset, these games constantly remind you why Spider-Man remains one of gaming's greatest superheroes. For pure fun and movement alone, Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 absolutely deserve their place among the greatest open-world games ever created. Taking the number 5 spot is Ghost of Tsushima. Few games are as visually breathtaking as Ghost of Tsushima. From the very beginning, it's clear that this isn't just another open-world game. Every forest, mountain, river, shrine, bamboo field, and golden meadow feels carefully handcrafted to create an unforgettable atmosphere. Instead of overwhelming players with countless map markers, the game encourages natural exploration. The guiding wind gently points you toward your destination without breaking immersion, while foxes lead you to hidden shrines. Golden birds reveal secret locations, and smoke rising in the distance often signals new adventures waiting to be discovered. It's one of the most immersive navigation systems ever created. Combat is equally impressive. Every sword duel feels like a scene from a classic samurai film. Timing, patience, precision, and mastering different combat stances are essential for defeating different enemy types. Rather than rushing into every battle, players are rewarded for staying calm and choosing the right strategy. As Jin Sakai's journey unfolds, players witness the difficult choices between following the honorable path of a samurai or embracing the methods of the ghost to protect his homeland. The emotional storytelling, combined with incredible voice acting and cinematic presentation, keeps players invested from beginning to end. Ghost of Tsushima also includes one of the best photo modes in gaming, and it's easy to see why. Almost every location looks like a living painting, making players stop just to admire the scenery. With its beautiful world, satisfying combat, emotional narrative, and unforgettable atmosphere, Ghost of Tsushima stands as one of PlayStation's greatest achievements. Just missing the podium at number 4 is Grand Theft Auto 5. More than a decade after its release, GTA 5 continues to set the standard for modern open-world games. The city of Los Santos feels incredibly alive. Traffic flows naturally, pedestrians react to your actions, wildlife exists outside the city, random events happen unexpectedly, and every district has its own personality. Whether you're walking through downtown, relaxing on Vespucci Beach, driving through the countryside, or climbing Mount Chiliad, every area feels unique. Rockstar's attention to detail is simply unmatched. You'll notice NPCs having conversations, construction workers doing their jobs, police responding realistically to crimes, and countless small details that make the world feel believable. One of GTA 5's biggest innovations was its 3 protagonist system. Michael, Franklin, and Trevor each bring completely different personalities, skills, and perspectives to the story. Switching between them during missions creates unforgettable moments and keeps the gameplay constantly changing. The mission variety is another reason GTA 5 remains so memorable. From massive bank heists and high-speed police chases to underwater exploration, airplane missions, and action-packed shootouts, every mission feels different from the last. Outside the main story, there's an incredible amount of content. Players can race cars, play golf, tennis, invest in the stock market, customize vehicles, buy businesses, complete strangers and freaks missions, hunt wildlife, skydive, fly helicopters, or simply explore every corner of Los Santos. And then there's GTA Online, which has kept millions of players entertained for years with regular updates, new missions, businesses, vehicles, and multiplayer activities. Very few open-world games have remained relevant for as long as GTA 5. Its incredible freedom, detailed world, memorable characters, and endless replay value make it one of the greatest games Rockstar has ever created. Taking the number 3 spot is The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. When The Witcher 3 released in 2015, it completely changed what players expected from an open-world RPG. Even today, more than a decade later, it remains one of the greatest role-playing games ever created. You play as Geralt of Rivia, a professional monster hunter searching for his adopted daughter, Ciri. While the main story is outstanding, what truly makes this game special is everything that happens outside of it. Most open-world games treat side quests as simple fetch missions. The Witcher 3 does the exact opposite. Even the smallest side quest can introduce memorable characters, emotional stories, unexpected twists, and difficult choices. Many of these optional missions are so well written that they feel like main story content. The world itself is enormous and incredibly diverse. From the war-torn villages of Velen to the bustling streets of Novigrad and the breathtaking islands of Skellige, every region has its own atmosphere, culture, and dangers. Whether you're sailing across the sea, exploring haunted forests, or tracking monsters through abandoned ruins, there's always something waiting to be discovered. Combat revolves around preparation as much as skill. Before facing powerful monsters, you'll often need to study their weaknesses, craft potions, apply special oils to your swords, and use magical signs to gain the advantage. Every contract feels like solving a mystery before finally taking down your target. Then there are the expansions. Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine are widely considered 2 of the greatest DLCs ever made. Blood and Wine alone adds an entirely new region filled with beautiful landscapes, memorable characters, and dozens of hours of additional content. Very few games combine storytelling, world building, exploration, and player choice as successfully as The Witcher 3. It's not just one of the greatest RPGs ever made, it's one of the greatest games of all time. Just missing the number one spot is Elden Ring. From Software took everything they had learned from games like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro and transformed it into one of the most rewarding open-world experiences ever created. Unlike most modern games, Elden Ring doesn't constantly tell you where to go. There are no endless objective markers guiding every step. Instead, the game encourages curiosity. If you see a mysterious castle in the distance, you can go there. If you notice a hidden cave tucked away behind a cliff, you can explore it. If something catches your attention on the horizon, chances are there's a secret waiting to be discovered. That freedom creates one of the strongest senses of exploration ever seen in gaming. The Lands Between is filled with hidden dungeons, underground cities, ancient ruins, magical towers, secret bosses, legendary weapons, and countless surprises that reward players willing to explore. Combat is another reason Elden Ring became an instant classic. Every enemy demands patience, timing, and learning from your mistakes. Victory never feels handed to you. It feels earned. Boss battles are among the best ever designed, featuring unforgettable encounters that test both skill and determination. Defeating one of these bosses after multiple attempts creates a level of satisfaction that very few games can match. Character customization also offers incredible freedom. Players can build powerful warriors, agile dexterity fighters, devastating spellcasters, archers, or create completely unique hybrid builds. This variety gives the game enormous replay value. What truly sets Elden Ring apart is the feeling of adventure. Every path leads to another discovery, every victory feels meaningful, and every hour spent exploring reveals something unexpected. It's a masterpiece of world design and one of the greatest achievements in modern gaming. And finally, taking the number one spot as the greatest open-world game of all time is Red Dead Redemption 2. Rockstar Games didn't simply create another open world. They created a living, breathing world that still feels unmatched years after its release. Everything in Red Dead Redemption 2 feels alive. Animals hunt each other naturally. NPCs remember your actions and react differently depending on your reputation. Weather changes dynamically, affecting both the environment and gameplay. Towns wake up in the morning, businesses open, people go to work, trains follow schedules, and the wilderness constantly feels active whether you're there or not. It's this unbelievable attention to detail that separates Red Dead Redemption 2 from every other game on this list. Then there's Arthur Morgan. He's not just one of gaming's greatest protagonists, he's one of the greatest fictional characters ever created. Throughout the story, players witness his struggles, friendships, loyalty, regrets, and personal growth, making his journey unforgettable from beginning to end. Exploration is equally rewarding. Whether you're hunting legendary animals, fishing in peaceful rivers, searching for hidden treasures, discovering abandoned cabins, helping strangers on the roadside, or simply riding through the countryside at sunset, the game constantly creates memorable moments without forcing them on the player. The realism is unlike anything else. Weapons become dirty and require maintenance. Horses develop bonds with their riders. Your clothing affects how people react in different towns. Even small animations, like skinning animals, setting up camp, or drinking coffee by the fire, add to the incredible immersion. Graphically, Red Dead Redemption 2 remains one of the most beautiful games ever made. Its forests, mountains, swamps, deserts, and snowy landscapes still rival many games released years later. But perhaps the greatest achievement is how emotionally connected players become to the world. By the end of Arthur Morgan's journey, it no longer feels like you're finishing a video game. It feels like you're saying goodbye to a life you genuinely lived. That's something only a handful of games have ever accomplished. For its unmatched realism, unforgettable story, revolutionary world design, incredible attention to detail, and timeless gameplay. Red Dead Redemption 2 is my choice for the greatest open-world game of all time, and that's my top 14 open-world games of all time. Did your favorite game make the list, or would you rank them differently? Let me know your own top 5 in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gaming content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy gaming!